Hey guys, it's me, the Oracle of Apollo. Let me just get into a position where there's enough light. And it's actually pretty late. I'm making this video now. I wanted to make this for a little while, but I didn't have the time, so I'm making it now. Okay, so this video is going to be about spirituality and boundaries. And first of all, hello Stardusted Souls. I hope you guys are all well. Excuse my blanket. It's nighttime and I turned the heater down in my house at nighttime so we can conserve energy. I feel like this is a very important topic in the community for many reasons, for many obvious and many not so obvious reasons. But I feel like I wanted to address it. I get questions about this pretty often. As you guys know, I have a nonprofit organization called Healing Ourselves While Learning, Howl, H-O-W-L, here in Philadelphia. And basically, we're a holistic center, mineral boutique awareness center. And we teach people how to get over their symptoms of sabotage and pain through holistic means. So I feel like I'm just trying to like gather my thoughts for this, because I feel like this is a very strong subject. So let me explain a little bit about something about Howl. It is a judgment-free zone, okay? It is a safe space. It is a place where anybody from any background can go and just be who they are without judgment. And I have really made it my mission to honor that, honestly. I really made it my mission to honor that over the years. And sometimes we have situations that are not harmonious or conducive to the ambiance or to the structure or to what we're trying to create. And this is for many reasons, of course. I live in a city that isn't so keen on spirituality, as far as like when I go to the West Coast, it's pretty much everywhere. It's normalized. It's amazing. Everybody knows about it. And then over here, it's kind of like looking at you like you're some 1600s witch because you're practicing meditation and self-healing. So anyways, but creating the space requires me to be tempest, right? To maintain balance. So I, as the Pythia of the space, I have to ensure that the space stays balanced. And sometimes we get people, we have a membership program at Howl, and not everybody is approved to be a member, but I'm going to explain why. And this is not because, you know, we're picking and choosing, or there's some kind of like, if I don't like you, you can't join type of situation. That's not anything like that. When you're an energetically sensitive person, to you, the world of energy stops becoming subtle. I know we always call these the subtle bodies. With enough practice, they no longer become subtle, and they are there, present all the time, almost as tangible as the physical world, because it's part of your experience. So there are cases where people come in, or they have attachments or low-level energies, or you feel like they're working with something malevolent. There are those situations, special situations. But then there are other situations that are created out of ignorance. And that's the ones that I want to talk about in this video. Are, what do you do when you're in a situation with people who are just ignorant to what you do? Okay, so this has happened, and this is why I'm bringing it up. I had a person come into the center, and she's religious. Now, again, everybody has different background beliefs at the center, so everybody is welcome regardless of faith or lack of. We even have atheists that come. So you don't have to believe in any God to come and be part of a sacred space or a protected space. But what you do have to be is open, all right? So I had a person come in who studied religious philosophies, and I was telling her what we do there. We have workshops and classes. We have meditation and Reiki and integrated energy therapy. And we have these things. And then I told her about the services, because our membership covers a 10% off of our services. And I personally offer a mediumship service, but I call this the guidance with the oracle. So it's not just for mediumship. It is for understanding everything about your subtle energy bodies. I'm going to use this as an example. If you went to a doctor and he looked at your blood work and he said, okay, you have too much sugar in your body. If you continue down this road, you're going to get diabetes. Does that make him a psychic? No. It makes him logical. He understands the data that he's reading. The same thing with subtle energy bodies. At a certain point, you just know enough where it's kind of like, okay, I can read your energy field, and if we don't take appropriate action to correct this course, XYZ could be a potential outcome. It's the same thing. So I tell her that we have readings there, and she stops me and she says, whoa, readings? Oh, I don't believe in that. And she kind of starts to go in this tangent. Immediately an emotional response to something that made her uncomfortable. I stopped her in her tracks. Because one, this is a sacred space, and negativity of that kind that's being perpetuated out of sheer ignorance is not going to be tolerated. But of course, I had to give her clarity and understanding of what she was actually saying, because ignorance could not be corrected without knowledge or wisdom. So it's not fair enough to say it's not fair for you to think that way, because that's not something fair for me to say. I can't say, oh, it's not fair for you to think that way, because everyone's going to have a different opinion about it. And I'm not here to change anybody's minds. I'm not here to save anybody. I'm not here to convince or sell anybody. I am here with the sacred space, with the promise of maintaining the space and balance so that you can be who you are, regardless of who that person is. As long as you're not perpetuating negativity onto other people, making them feel uncomfortable, because then you're undermining the whole gist of what we are, of what this space is. And first and foremost, our space is a space of healing, period, point blank. And I expressed that to this woman. I said, I'm not trying to sell you anything. You don't have to believe in what I do, because we have different nights of the week for different things. But what you can't come in here and do, and this is why boundaries are important, but what you can't come in here and do is, like, and I'm telling her in a nice way, what you can't come in here and do is, like, the way you're expressing what you're saying to me right now is not something that I will allow you to do unto someone else here during an event. You don't have to agree with what someone's doing, because not everything is going to resonate with you, but you do have to be respectful. And I did express that to her. Then she kind of went on, like, she started going, oh, I know some people think it's a gift. And I stopped her. You can go to a cafe, because she was saying, oh, I love everything you have to say. I love everything you guys stand for. You sold me. These are the words she used. You sold me, except for this reading stuff. I don't do that future stuff. And I said, well, that's a service. It's not a class. It's not a court. It is a course. It's not a prerequisite. It is a service. And you don't go to a cafe, or you don't stop going to a cafe, rather, when you love the entire menu except the espresso blend, which you weren't planning on drinking anyways. You don't stop going to a restaurant because something on that menu doesn't suit you. All right? I also expressed to her that to be invited as a member, you have to demonstrate that you have the ability to be amongst people, to be amongst people who are different than you and are going to express different opinions, different beliefs as yourself. And if you are not capable of doing that, this place is not for you. I am not here to discourage anyone, but I am here to protect the flock. It is my job to protect those that are within, okay? It is my job to express love to those who want to come in. And it is not because it is my professional obligation, because this is the duty of my heart, okay? But in that duty, we can't have, we ourselves, what happens is, because we're spiritual, we think, some of us believe, and then others perpetuate onto us out of ignorance, that we're supposed to bend over and take it every time. That we're never allowed to take a stance for the things that we believe in because it's not spiritual. That we shouldn't accept money in exchange for our time and our energy because it's not spiritual. How we have to be liked by everyone and conform. You have to set healthy boundaries for yourself. You are still a human being with wants, needs, desires, and feelings. Being spiritual is being true to who you are. It is being honest with yourself about the feelings that are incurring within the body in any given moment. And express, not react. Not react. And express and convey that truth of your heart to the world upon about happiness or about dismay. It doesn't matter. It is your job to just be you. It is not your job to conform to anyone else's needs, desires, or fantasies. So, although there was someone else in the center that day, and they saw this and were kind of like in shock that this person would convey this message, we can't be mad at people when they don't know. All we can do is say, hey, that does not resonate with me. That's not what I'm trying to co-create here. But if you are willing to try to be here, try to be open-minded, I will work with you. But if you step out of bounds and you're creating chaos and fear in this space, then this place is not for you yet. Yet. That's any sacred space. Because this person has to unfold. In my first year, this lesson of boundaries was given to me the hard way. I had to learn this the hard way because people who were much older than me were acting not appropriately towards other people. And I let it slide because I said to myself, other people is responsible to react or respond the way they are. It's not up to me to babysit other people. But this was me thinking out of lack of experience. And fast forward 3 years later, now understanding the community better, understanding how a lot of spiritual people think and how they respond to stresses and out of fear, because afterwards they come to you and they're like, oh, I had a lot of anxiety doing XYZ. So you have to be the voice for them, especially if you're the one holding space, or you're the one holding space for them so that they can be who they are. So this is just the one example I wanted to give. I wanted to give another example. Now, sometimes people will try to bully you or create a situation where you submit to them because they think that you have to. All right? In every community, including the spiritual community, there are cons. And I'm so sad to say that, because it is really the minority of people that create fear amongst the general populace about what we do, because of a minority of people who are using deceptive and cunning manners to attain whatever it is that they are seeking. I will give you an example. there was this person named Andy. I never met Andy, and he Facebook friended my public Facebook page. And you can friend me too if you want. My Facebook is Dominique Rivera, and it will say Black Oracle in the parentheses because Facebook won't let me change my name. So he friended me on Facebook, and this escalated very quickly. He friended me on Facebook, and then within minutes, and I literally mean maybe less than 10 minutes, within less than 10 minutes, I got a very long, detailed paragraphs in Messenger. And basically this is what they stated. Hello, my name is so-and-so. I noticed that your center has 110, what was it? 110, like malevolent, I don't remember verbatim. It was like malevolent beings attached to your space. Okay? And because of this, basically you're never going to get the work done. Your work is subpar. But don't worry about it because I paid my friend $150 to clear your space on my behalf. And because of how kind-hearted, these are the words he said, because of how kind-hearted I am and how spiritual your center is, I will take in exchange of, and then he numerically calculated, looking through how much our events cost. And mind you, we have a subscription for the month for $25 a month. So at $150, this is like the whole year, okay? I calculated that the exchange for this is going to be this many months, this many events that I feel I am entitled to for having such a spiritual and big heart. Okay. I found that really interesting because I am so extremely sensitive to energies. And the day before, we actually had 4 other mediums and we did a massive energy clearing in the space. Not because there was anything particularly happening. It's just we all were there and we're like, you know what? Let's just combine our energies and do some beautiful work here today. And we did. And when people come in, they remark, wow, you know, there's so much beautiful energy. There's so much love here. And our space is cleared regularly before every event and then mass cleared, of course, at the appropriate cycles. So there's a consistent cleansing happening. And this is because anywhere that you do good work, or any work, actually, any work, but I'm just saying good work because we think because we're doing healing work that we're kind of like not included somehow. But anywhere where you do any energy work is also an energetic dumping ground. You're dumping people's feelings, people's traumas, people's anxieties, people's fears, all right? So you have to continuously cleanse this and keep it high vibrational so that way that same continued healing work can be done for the highest and greatest good of all. And because this was so quickly done, and because the words in the letter, I was in the military for 10 years, so you guys know. And I grew up in a rough neighborhood, so I have a lot of street smarts. And I'm not trying to say that to make myself sound like a private detective or anything. But I have a lot of street smarts because I grew up in a very rough neighborhood. And I know a con when I hear a con. And I would never suspect anything about anyone. But at the bottom of his email, he said, but if you don't feel like... 5. That's my Roomba. But if you don't feel like having this exchange, it's totally okay, all right? And I laughed because I could feel the energy coming off of this paragraph. And I said, you know what? Thank you for your beautiful donation. Although I cannot exchange something because that is not out of my will. I cannot exchange something for you because it was done out of the gratitude of your heart. I wouldn't want to change the reason for that. Anything that is done, I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is why you're going, okay, well, maybe it was someone who's doing it out of the goodness of their heart, and maybe you did have 110 attachments and you're just being ignorant. anybody that is doing something for you, for the community, for the greater good, is not going to do it with the preliminary intention of having to receive a treat, to receive a prize, okay? This is not the same thing as charging, because when we charge, we are validating that what we're doing has value, all right? That what we're doing is worthy. What we're doing is of time, of energy, of the matter, all right? Not the same thing. So you already did this with the intention within those few moments. All of this happened within like less than 10 minutes, by the way. Within those few moments, you took pity upon our space. You sent it to your friend. He did that whole huge mega clearing in that moment. So when I said politely, no, thank you, but I really appreciate it, he got hostile. He got hostile, and then he started saying, he's legitimate. You can ask him you can ask him to show you that I paid him. No one ever said that you did or did not pay him. I just merely said, thank you, but no thank you. And this is how much it costs a month this is how much a subscription is of donation a month is. And this is how much a suggested donation is per event, which is only $10. We're very, very affordable because I know the type of people that I'm catering to. And we're not trying to break anyone's wallets, but we still have overhead and we still have things. And it's just reality, guys. Reality is walls, ground, supplies cost physical money and are not paid with please and thank yous. So he got belligerent in the email that he sent me. Then I said again, thanks, but no thanks. Now seeing that his true colors are coming out. But in that secondary exchange, what he tried to do was bully me into submission. He was trying to turn around what the perception is of spirituality to make me feel like less than a spiritual person because I was declining his very wonderful offer. Okay? In the days to come, and by that I mean the very next day I was at my center and the phone rang. I was helping a customer in that moment as she was purchasing some things. And I said, excuse me, let me answer this phone really quick. And as soon as I answered the phone, thank you for calling Howlwellness Center. How can I help you? You effing B. Oh. I'm just listening. You effing B. You call yourself effing spiritual, not letting me in there. I said, you know what? Thank you for showing me I made the right decision. Have a great day. Boom. That was it. Or so I thought. Because now it continued. The persons that were in there heard it on the phone and could also see my expression because I was very shocked and surprised. I was extremely shocked that someone who I had politely declined the first time who tried to con me, the second time who tried to bully me and create me to submit, now is calling me and physically harassing me. I thought this was the end of that. I thought, okay, he was angry. He got out of his system. Done. You know, some people are explosive. Some people are explosive. And in my intuition that entire time, it was saying, no, 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 no. Don't let this person into your space. Don't let this person into your home. Because my sacred space is my home. And that is where people expect me to protect them. That is where they feel protected. And I hear that time and time again. I feel so safe here. And so he sent me a physical letter in the mail. So I opened this letter. And here we go again with the entities and how he thought my rules at the center were BS, and how he thought I was stupid, and how how stupid I am and how I'm never going to be able to achieve anything, and that it would be the biggest mistake of my life if I did not reconsider him for a membership. So basically there's like 4 paragraphs of this. I have read this to other people, but it's like such an extreme letter. I have read it to a very handful of people because it's like 3 or 4 people. I didn't want to like really like give it energy, especially because this was the first time this had occurred to me. So it was like, okay, I have to deal with this in the professional, but also be genuine to who I am and to my feelings, and recognize that and not suppress anything. And so, you know, I showed it to them, and like the first 3 paragraphs is basically just cursing me out. And then the very last paragraph is, you should really reconsider letting me come to your center. So and he also apologizes at the very bottom, but after he calls me stupid, and that how my rules for how are idiotic. So I mean, he goes on and on and on, but at the very bottom, please reconsider, you know. So, you know, it's okay to say no. And that's really where this whole long explanation is. There has been other instances like this, guys. Not everybody has good intentions, all right? This does not mean suspect people's intentions. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, allow yourself to be genuine with your intuition. Allow yourself to be genuine with your feelings. And if it doesn't feel right to you, then say no. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be something as extreme as what I said to something as common as gossip. All right? It only takes 2 or 3 people to be in agreement to do something like gossip. And if it makes you uncomfortable, just say no. Just say no. It does not feel good to be involved in it. Say no. Boundaries are very important. That's including when people need you too much. All right? There's such a thing as being needed too much. When people are not respecting the fact that you're going through, if you're going through something, and people who always come to you for guidance, and you say, listen, you know, I have to take a step back because I'm going through something, and they don't respect it, and they keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing and make it in about themselves, you're allowed to not answer, okay? And I feel like as professionals, we kind of just get like caught up in, I have to be there. Or as really empathic people or intuitive people or spiritual people, we're like, I have to be there for them because that's what I'm supposed to do. My path is be there for people. Sure, but you are not to be abused. You are not to be overworked, because you serve no one burnt out, okay? You serve no one empty. You serve no one just being useless, because if you're being overutilized, then you're gonna be dull. So you have to learn how to say no. Don't answer those phone calls. Don't reply to those texts. And you know, I have actually had people tell me, well, you just tell them that you'll message them back. I don't have to tell anyone that I will message them back when I've already told them I'm taking time for myself. I don't have to explain to people why I need time for myself. I don't have to give reasons why I am taking a few steps back, because already in the statement, I need to take time to honor myself and respect myself and take time for me should be enough for you to say, oh, okay, well, you know what? Maybe my problems are just going to weigh her down more. And obviously she has problems of herself that she's trying to manage. And let's not tilt the scale. A lot of people don't recognize that. A lot of people, when they're in a panic mode, they don't know how to come back to center. And if you are in a state of, you know, sometimes you guys are in a state of shifting. Right now I am. I'm in a state of shifting. And when I'm in a state of shifting, I get migraines, I feel dizzy, but I know it's temporary until the shift is over and then whatever emerges or whatever is released. But during that time, I really like to be alone and have some solitude for myself, or spend time with my family or my partner or my child, or, you know, anything like that. Something more private than just being the catch-all for everyone. And that's okay. Admitting that you also have needs does not make you less than. It does not make you weak. It makes you strong for recognizing that you have that you recognize your needs, and that you're giving yourself integrity by respecting your needs and going forward in that manner. So I really wanted to talk about that today. I feel like we really look over this a lot, or it's expected in a different manner. That's not really fair. It's not fair at all. And I know recently I did go through that, where people were reaching out to me because they were going through some things, and for 20 days, I also have health conditions, and for 20 days I was really, really sick, and I didn't express that on Facebook or World Wide Web. Hey, I'm sick. Like, no, that's not what it's about. It's about when you reached out to me the first time and I said, you know what, I'm taking a step back. That's it. I don't have to further go into anything else. Also, I'm in my 7th personal year. In my 7th personal year, if you guys don't know what that's about, there's many YouTube videos about that, about what your personal years are and mean. But really, I need more solitude this year, because I'm right now in a discovery of self. I'm learning who I am. I'm creating these disciplines around me, and that takes self-reflection, solo time. When you are a face for a community, or you are on Facebook, or you're in any kind of public eye, people reach you from all over, everywhere, all the time. And when you don't reply back, judgments are placed on you, which I have learned. Judgments are placed on you. Oh, you think this is about money. Oh, you're better than me because you can do X, Y, Z. People perpetuate these things on you, and don't just go, oh, well, maybe 500 other people are also messaging her, and they're so overwhelmed, or they're taking their time, or they just don't have time. Or, matter of fact, maybe it is because they work and have a real life and real job, and they can't do all of those things and come to my beck and call. It's okay to not answer it. It's okay to not answer it. I had a friend who messaged me, oh, you're a real great person because you answer me back, and other people who are clairvoyant or psychic or mediums, they're all stuck up because they don't answer me back. And I said, no. Don't do that to them. Don't do that to them. Because the same way you're reaching out to them, they have many other people reaching out to them, including their close friends, their family, their health, their careers. Everyone has their own stuff going on. The world does not revolve around one individual person, and this is where boundaries continue to come into place. I correct my friends when I hear them speaking in ways that are not conducive, or if they're speaking in a way that is like this one example I gave you, and they don't ever get upset about it. They just go, oh yeah, duh. I don't know why I thought that. I didn't know why I think automatically that someone just is hating me, that someone doesn't want to talk to me, that something's wrong with me, that they're not answering me, or that they're stuck up, or they just whatever. I didn't just give them a chance to be human. I didn't give them a chance to be a person. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to talk about as far as boundaries. No, say no when you want to say no. Don't take on more than you can. Like, you're not superhuman. There's going to be pain. There's been pain before you, pain after you. There's always going to be someone in need. There's always going to be an emergency. And in my life, I feel like if you ever seen Charmed, those 3 sisters, that they would just run off because there was always an emergency. That's my life. There's always an emergency. There's always someone. And over time, what I learned was that was detrimental to my relationship with my partner. So then I pulled back. And it really bothered people that I wasn't so interactive with them and their problems because I pulled back. But what they failed to realize was I had needs, and I had to fill my vessel first in order for me to pour out of my vessel into their cups. And regardless. All right, guys, I think that's all I want to talk about was about boundaries. Set yourself some healthy boundaries. You know what? Let's talk about setting boundaries real quick as a practitioner. Okay? If you're a practitioner, you should have a private page and a public page. Your pages should look seamless. Like your personal page and your public page, they should have the same content, except don't put your clients into your private page. There's a reason for that. Something you might find funny. I shared this meme and it said what I think sending good vibes looks like. And it was a little like drawn line man character with a rainbow coming out of his mouth, and he's going, and the big rainbow's coming out. And it said what I think of when they say love and light. And it was funny to me. And I placed the guy, they're standing there with the rainbow shooting out of his mouth, and I got messages, people got offended by that. So you don't want to offend your clients, so therefore they shouldn't, your humor, I'm not saying don't be funny, but you gotta have a separation, you know? You really gotta have a separation. You start inviting people back to your house because they're fun people, they're interesting people, and you wanna cultivate friendships. You gotta be very, very, I'm not saying don't do this. You gotta really use your head, guys. You're gonna want everyone to be your friend because they share the same interests as you, because they're good conversationalists. Go meet them in public. You don't have to give everybody your Facebook right away. I don't give anybody my private Facebook because that's for my family, and that's it. Family and friends who I grew up with who have raunchy humor, or my gay friends who some people don't think is okay. So it's kind of like, not that I'm saying that on my public Facebook I don't have them on there, because yes, I do have them on there, but I don't have to invite my clients into my private life, into my private views of what I think is acceptable or not acceptable. And what I'm going to say by that is, okay, you're going to be one person in person and one person not in person. Like, that's not okay. You're always the same person. Yes, but you have to keep a professionalism about you when you're dealing with the client. You're not talking about politics with your clients. I don't talk about religion with my clients. So those are off the board. But in my personal life, when the presidency, was being changed and Obama was leaving office, that's all anyone could talk about. That's all anyone could talk about, period. But I'm not going to have those conversations or those memes or that kind of humor when it could offend one of my clients. So keeping them separate is a must. For real, you're going to save yourself a lot of headache. Keeping boundaries between you and your students, creating a contract stating what you are to them, because as a representative of a community or an organization, sometimes people put you on this pedestal, and this really happens. Sometimes they put you on this crazy pedestal for whatever reason. You're no longer human. You're like this weird demigod thing that you got to tell people, like, listen, I'm a person. I make mistakes. I am not perfect, and they'll say, oh, well, you're my friend because you listen to my problems. It is because of my position and my duty to my path that we have this exchange, and as a teacher, I'm going to listen, so this way I can give you guidance on what needs to occur, okay? And not that I'm not saying I have not made friends with some of my clients, because they have, and I have some very beautiful, close, deep connections with some of them. But these are things I'm telling you I have learned over the last 3 years of being in teacher-student relationships. And then the moment something occurs when they disagree with you or are not on the same page of your perspective, you become targeted. Because now you are a business, you're still business head, but now you become targeted. And this can be done so rapidly and so rampantly through hurt feelings because of whatever is the reason. But it can happen. So this is why, okay, let's say as a friend, you would tell someone, you shouldn't really do that. And your friend would be like, oh, it sucks that you're saying that, but I know you have my best interest at heart. As a teacher, I could say, you shouldn't really be doing that. But now you're like, oh, I'm so offended because who are you to tell me I can and cannot do something? This has happened. And then go ahead and explode without them really expressing why that bothered them to begin with. Okay? Don't confuse the two. Don't confuse the two. Don't confuse the two. I don't invite people back to my house. One of the clients that I had was a client for over a year and a half who I literally saw every single day. And you'll see him on Who Are the Gods with the Ancient Ones. It's Angelo Adrian. I love him. And so it took a year before I invited him. And that's not something I just don't want to mix the two. There's bad experiences that have occurred, that lessons that I have learned about boundaries that you have to set, okay? Being available to your clients 24 hours a day, 7 days a week is a negative. Do not do that to yourself. Do not open that can of worms. If somebody messages you at 2:30 in the morning, do not answer it. I don't care if you're up watching Netflix. That's you time. You have to turn, and it's for your own well-being too. You have to turn off at some point. You can't just be go, 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 because you're going to burn out. All right. So on Friday, I literally post on my public Facebook, bye everybody. On Fridays, I'm like, okay, bye. I'm gone for the weekend. And I do that almost every Friday. That's telling the world, hi, business hours are closed. I'm going to go take a hike. I'm going to take a couple hikes this weekend, spend time with my family, my parents, my husband, my child, my pets, and my close circle. So that way I can stay balanced, or I'm going to paint or sing or do whatever it is that I do to create myself to be balanced. Don't be on the beck and call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Because what you're going to do is you're going to wind up feeling like that is your value. That your value is only there when, and this is from observing, that your value is only there when you are needed. And then when you're not needed, like when you have a need and some other person doesn't come to your rescue, you're going to feel terrible. And that is because we are looking for validation from the external. So make sure when you're doing this practice and you're setting your boundaries that you have integrity to yourself, saying, you know what, this is the reason that I'm doing this particular practice. Not because I find enjoyment in being pat on the back. We don't do things because we know the goal is pleasure. We do things for the experience, and when we do things for the experience, our heart will subsequently receive pleasure from it. All right, I think that's enough ranting about this. I don't know if you guys want me to talk more about what you guys want me to talk about in general. Just, I don't know, let me know in the comments. Subscribe to my channel, please. That way I can make more videos so I don't feel like I'm kind of just talking to the air. Follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Apollo's Claim One. It's going to come up as Domino. That used to be my old channel on Facebook. Won't let me change my name to Oracle. So it's going to be Apollo's Claim One, you know, when you do pages, not when you do name. And I do readings on there. You can see my services on there as well. You can follow my nonprofit organization or donate. It's Howlwellness Center on Facebook, howlwellness.com. And for if you want to donate to our nonprofit, it is howlwellness@gmail on PayPal. So yeah, check out my videos, subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you guys want to talk about. I do a lot of lives like on Facebook, but I'm really trying to transition over to YouTube, so that way it's there for recording and for review for the future, because I feel like once it's on we have these great conversations and great topics on Facebook Live, and then a few days later the moderator just kind of takes off the information, and now no one has this information, or the group is closed and it has a limited audience. Even if the groups are big, like 50,000 people, it doesn't matter. I want this information to be available for everybody. All right, guys, that is all the information I have for you today. I want you to go on your journey to know thyself, love thyself, and remember the divine always has your back. Namaste. Ciao.